What is going on, fam? Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin podcast. This is a show where we discuss trending news and thought-provoking topics from the realms of politics, sports, pop culture, and so much more. Look, I'm getting better, y'all. I'm always trying to remember this. You would think like at episode 91, I should remember how the intro goes, but every day it's always like a toss-up. Don't want to do this, don't want to say that. So we change it up all the time. But as you know, this is election season, right? This is the 2024 election season going on in your local level, state, federal. I'm a big advocate for having the knowledge of what's happening, in my backyard. So I've always been excited to bring on officials on a local level here. I'm a resident of the great city of Chesapeake out in Virginia, Hampton Roads, Virginia area. This one, I'm very excited, y'all. I have a dear friend of mine, Councilman Don Carey, on because he has made the run for mayor of the city of Chesapeake, which is you will say, okay, look, that's dope. He's making a run. He's already a local official, so obviously you don't want to continue to work his way up. But it's a little more juiciness to it, y'all. It's a little more, and I don't use this word a lot, juicy. It's weird sometimes, but it's getting pretty interesting because Don had made headlines on our local news circuit about he was switching parties. He was switching political parties and making a bid for mayor of Chesapeake. So I'm very excited to have him on. Like I said, he's a dear friend. He's had an amazing career before politics. He's played 10 years in the NFL, most of his years with the Detroit Lions. He's a All-American football player out of Norfolk State University. Behold the green and gold. And he's also big at giving back to the community. He's the founder of the Reach Foundation. With him and his lovely wife, it's a nonprofit that provides youth football camps and focuses on supporting children's participation in STEM and arts field. Once again, I'm so excited to have this great sit-down conversation with the one and only Mr. Councilman Don Carey. Let me bring him on. What's going on, boss? Oh, hold on.
Yeah, I'm muted.
There
What's
you
up,
go.
brother. How you doing today?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I am blessed. Just excited. Again, it's another great day, but just another great day to be chopping up with a friend. So, and I'm very excited, man. When I heard that you were running for mayor, I couldn't be, more excited and happy for you. I remember y'all taking it back. I used to host a podcast called Our Smooth Club Podcast, a show where everyday men discuss everyday topics. And Don was a guest on our show. And at that time, I want to say you had just won the seat for city council. It was still fairly new. It was still fairly new.
Fairly early, yes.
Yeah, and we got to talk about his career in the NFL, his upbringing here in the Hampton Roads area, and now going from professional athlete to political official. So we had a great conversation then, and I remember kind of asking the question, man, what higher office, man. When are you gonna run for higher office? Because I was gassing it on. He said, it will come. I'm never gonna say never. I definitely want to continue to climb up. And honestly, Don, since then being elected into office now, your last recently you were running for higher office. You were running for state delegate representing District 89 and came up short in the primaries. Now at that time you're running as a Republican. Well, let me actually take it back before I go into detail with that. You are running for mayor of Chesapeake.
Correct.
First question I want to ask is why now?
Yeah, well, brother, I greatly appreciate you having me on. I feel like I'm a regular now. All right. So I'm running for mayor because number one, I love my city. I moved here in 2013, and it doesn't take long before you realize that Chesapeake is special. The people here are great, whether you're in the historic South Norfolk or you're with the farmers down in Hickory, or you're in the Deep Creek area where there's vibrant neighborhoods where my wife and I live. Our city is truly exceptional. We have a booming business community here. We're the heartbeat of Hampton Roads in so many ways. But sadly, I don't think that Chesapeake has had exceptional leadership. And I think that your mayor should be one who sets the vision for your city. I think your mayor should be one who identifies problems within the city, initiatives to solve those problems, and really is like the boots on the ground leader. And I haven't seen that. So lest I run for council and sit under the same lack of leadership that we've had, I've decided that, you know what, I'll put my bid in and I'll stake a claim where I think I can be that leader that I believe our city deserves.
Love it, love it. And I forgot to mention also, man, congrats, because you and your lovely wife, y'all just welcomed a new addition to the household. Now it's
Baby number 4. Yes, sir.
baby number 4. Look, so 2 girls and 2 boys. So that's
Girls,
that's
2
like an
boys.
equal battle of the sexes going on in that household. I just thought about
Well,
that.
well, look, I'll tell you this now, because you're married now, right?
Yes.
Yes. You will learn. You need at least 3 boys per girl if you're gonna balance the sexes that way. Like these these girls are something else. Okay, oh, my God. But no, I love my babies. We have our children range from 9 years old to 5 months, and it's never a dull moment. I was telling you earlier, this interview will be interrupted. At some
Are we
point.
gonna have some hecklers? Is it that bad? We're gonna have some hecklers? No.
Yeah, you probably see a little hair creeping up. Somebody want to get in. They want absolutely nothing. They just want to be on screen. So grace and mercy when it comes to that.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, yeah, please tell them I said hi, and they're awesome, man. Yeah, I'm in the new field. My wife and I we welcome the dog, so our dog is 1. So that's a lot of
You're
work right
close.
there. So of course,
You're
my
close.
man, I'm telling you, my mom, because I'm her only baby, so she's like, so and this and that. I'm like, what's with the hand rubbing? You need some lotion or something? What's up?
Look, tell Miss D to be patient. Be
What,
patient. It's coming.
man? So, but yeah, I had to mention that, man. But you're absolutely right though, because I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Chesapeake. Love Chesapeake. It's funny because as a kid, really middle school and high school, I was that kid. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get out of Virginia. I can't wait to leave Chesapeake. I'm just gonna be out. And once I was in college, and really starting to focus on my future, my career, working as as a business owner, I'm like, I see so much greatness in Chesapeake. I see so much growth in Chesapeake, and I see a lot of new things happening in the area. Why do I want to leave what's on the rise to something that's well already established? And it's like, I'll be, I love what is happening. But as far as leadership is concerned, we have a very, in my opinion, we have a very unbalanced council. So I've mentioned many times on this program, this is a very unbiased show. I consider myself, I am a registered independent. I voted, mostly as far as on the presidential level, Democrat, but I've voted back and forth on a local and state level, back and forth. I've never been married to a party. I've always, and I'm privileged to have parents similar, just like you. Like, I was never raised in a kind of party affiliate household. It was like, no, you gotta vote on who you truly want to vote for. And that's how it's been for me this whole time. But I say all that because like I said, we have an unbalanced council. I believe we have 1 Democrat on our city council out of 9. Well, now I'm sorry, I take that back, because 2 there we go. 2, excuse me, 2. And then I know school board out of 9 is all Republican. So very very unbalanced. You realize that in Chesapeake we have so many not opinions, we have so many views in the city of Chesapeake, whether that's, like you mentioned, Deep Creek, South Norfolk, the Hickory Grassfield area, and it's a lot of back and forth happening, really, in Chesapeake. So I totally agree with you. We definitely need some new and fresh faces, new ideas. I'm always going to advocate for younger candidates. I'm sorry, no shout out to the people that have been serving for a long time, but I've always felt like fresh new faces is always important, for public office.
Yeah, I agree with much of what you said. I think the issue that we've kind of run into within the city of Chesapeake is stagnant leadership, right? So individuals who've been in office for so long that you're asking the question, what value are they really bringing to our citizens? And what issues are they identifying? What initiatives are they bringing forth? How are they making the lives of citizens better? And the same way that a family would evaluate the value that their lawyer is bringing to them or their doctor is bringing to them, or whatever the area may be, I think we should hold politicians to the same standard. And it's actually even more important to hold politicians to that standard because you only elect us once every 4 years.
Yeah.
Right. So where if something doesn't go right with your doctor, you can go find another doctor, find another dentist. Right. But you're stuck with an individual that you elect for 4 years. And oftentimes what I've learned being on council is when the election season comes up, people like to say, hey, I'm doing what I'm doing. But then remaining 3 years, they do absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I come from a world where if you didn't bring your hard hat and your lunch pail every single day, you were losing your job. The NFL is one of the most competitive environments that exists. And I was able to last 10 years there because number one, I was extremely competent at what I did. I was one of the best in my position. Number two, I came to work every single day and I did my job. And I brought that same energy, that same drive to city council, and looking forward to November 5th being elected as mayor and continuing all that great work I've done these past 4 years from the mayoral state.
Don, as you're finishing out this is just your almost, you're almost finishing your first term in council. Has the process been easy for you because you're starting, you're pushing up the ladder? Some can say, not fast, but I mean, you're doing it. It's like, boom, elected here. Now I'm continue to, climb up. Has there been any walls that you have encountered trying to pursue and trying to make a huge difference and an impact in your community?
Oh, definitely. And let me tell you, my if I was the kind of person who would sit back and do what I'm told, my political trajectory would be way higher than what it is now. I can promise you.
I can believe that. I can believe that.
I can believe that, sir. But so I love the work we do that you do on council. Because I'm in the community, I've been able to solve so many problems. I've been able to connect with so many citizens, and that is what that is the joy of the job. The hurdles for me have been dealing with the politics of it. Right? Okay. Well, for me, I think I'm elected by the people. I'm accountable to the people. I'm going to do what's best for the people. But there are certain individuals that want you to say, hey, it's fine to say that in public, but in secret, we want you to be accountable to this particular group or to this small body. And that just doesn't sit right with me. My knees don't bend like that, So, and then that's probably been the biggest hurdle that I've dealt with is the ugly partisan politics of this, especially coming from someone who wasn't raised in a political household. And when I decided to run for politics, I'm like, okay, I have to an extent, play ball in this arena. But we'll talk about this later. But the things that I hear versus what I've now learned is vastly different.
Awesome. Yeah. I what you're saying is spot on. I mean, I think that's why, and I'm always trying to advocate for people younger than me to really get involved on an understanding and knowledge base when it comes to what's going on in the world of politics, because that's how kind of like how the game is played in a sense. And it's sad because it's like, okay, you realize we're playing with lives now, right? This is not just, a lot of the hard part is it'll be people that are just benefiting themselves and not the people. Fast forward, again, we talked about your, career in the NFL. Fast forward to that, you're in city council now. City council, running for city council, it's a nonpartisan race, but you do receive, a lot of candidates will receive backing from our local political parties, whether that's the local GOP, the Chesapeake Republican committee out here, or the Chesapeake Democratic committee. Now, when you ran for, in council, you received backing from the Republican Party at the time. And then, like I mentioned before, you had wanted to run for state delegate District 89. You ran as a Republican. And now, as you are currently running for mayor of Chesapeake, you made headlines in the news out here in Hampton Roads. You said, look, I'm going to switch parties and I'm going to make a bid for mayor of Chesapeake, which is, to me, man, when I read this, I was so happy when I heard about this, and not really on the fact that, okay, you switched party, just the fact that you're running for mayor. Now I've met the current mayor, really nice guy, happened to be good friends with his daughter. And like I said, can't say nothing rude about him. Obviously, we don't align on the political spectrum, but for one, I believe Chesapeake has had only one mayor of color, and that was he's Mayor Award. He was the first African American, and I know he passed. I can't remember which year, but I know he's no longer with us. But yes, and he is. I think the last time he served was in '04. That was the last time we had a African American mayor in office for the city of Chesapeake. Again, man, you are is do you have that thought process when you said, okay, look, I want to make a bid at mayor? Because I mean, that's what I'm thinking in my head right now. Because Chesapeake is very I don't know. In my eyes, I've always assumed Chesapeake being a very red city. I've always just considered it a very red city. Um, mostly I can't really say on as far as ethnicity and nationality as far as the demo here. I know we're the second largest. I remember you telling me that a while ago, and Chesapeake being the second largest city population wise in the state of Virginia. But how is it the fact that we haven't had any really diversity on our council for quite some time?
Yeah, man. I'm honestly, I don't know the full answer to that question. I could suppose, I guess, when I know what I've learned or what I've heard is when former Mayor Ward stepped down and former council member Cliff Hayes went up to higher office, it didn't seem as if there was a strong enough bench from the minority standpoint to try to run for office. I think there's been maybe one or two players who have tried, from the Black community to be elected on a consistent basis. I mean, one is Les Smith. He's run several times. Dr. Ward has been able to break through that glass ceiling and has cemented herself as a public servant. Dr. Pat King was elected as a school board member. Then she tried to run for council. She's running for council again. I do not know why more individuals haven't tried to get involved.
Yeah, man, and honestly, I didn't mean for that to be a simple question, because I was kind of like tying into recent elections. We've had issues when it comes to early voting for access in certain areas, predominantly Black neighborhoods, historic neighborhoods. Don't get me wrong. The Cuffy Center, and then I want to say, I forgot, there was two precincts that they had excluded from early voting access for people that have been in that neighborhood for years. And now it's like, okay, how do I have that access to vote? Now, I see that as an unfair thing, as far as a part of kind of like the corruption that goes on, or the unfair. I'll just say the unfair that happens when it comes to our local office, because like I said, predominantly Black areas, and Chesapeake is at large, so we do not have a district system, which, I mean, that's another far question in the in the future.
But we can talk about that though. Yeah.
Well,
brother, there were three precincts that out of the 7 that were taken away. One was Campostella, one was Coffee Center, and one was actually Greenbrier. And for various reasons, one was taken down. The Greenbrier location was taken down for logistical reasons, and the Camelot and the Coffee Center were taken down for low turnout reasons. They averaged 2% and 4%. But here's where your mayor matters, because when that situation came to council, it came to us at a time where we could not change anything. We didn't have the power to change anything because of advertising requirements handed by the state. But the mayor had the authority to call a special meeting in which we could have changed, and then had all of those locations brought back up, or a viable alternative brought back up for the citizens to be able to early vote. But he decided not to do that. So that's what I'm saying. Your mayor should be someone who is accountable to the people, and who goes and does things to put the people in the best position to be successful in life. And I think that the voting is probably the most sacred duty that we have as citizens in America. So any ability to be able to go out and vote early or to participate and have the same privileges that other areas of the city have is extremely important.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I have a lot of close contacts that work with amongst the different precincts, and like you mentioned one being logistical reason, and the other one being low voting turnout. And I know it costs money to have those at those different locations, but still, I'm like, even low voting turnout, there's still people that vote, and there's still people that looks, that look.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just every vote counts. We see a lot of our local and state leaders always saying, "Hey, look, your vote matters. Your vote counts." Well, I need the access. I need some help as far as to cast my vote. So I definitely I agree with you on that one. Now you have been receiving criticism from the local GOP. Well, I'll say I'll just quote some of the what they had said on this report by the Virginia Pilot. After you had made your bid and announced that you were switching parties, they said they considered you a political opportunist, and the only excuse me, let me try and find the other one. The only realize the only loyalty Don Carey has is to Don Carey. What do you have to say for about those critics, boss?
Yeah, you know what, man? I pray for him. I feel sorry for him.
Let's stay harsh.
Right. But so political opportunists again. Had I kept my mouth shut, had I been a good little black boy and did what they told me to do, we would not be talking about me running for mayor. We'd be talking about me challenging Tim Kaine for senator right now. That was as high my trajectory was in the Republican Party. But then again, I'm here to be accountable to the people of Chesapeake, not to be accountable to a small group who likes to control things, who have been controlling things for many years within the city. So I pray for them. It's sad. Anyone who knows me knows that I have lived a life of service over self since the day I was born. That's what I was raised in. And I will say one thing. My loyalty was never to the party. My loyalty is to no party. My loyalty is to my Lord first. I live for my God, my family, my community. And as when the Republican Party did well, I was happy to go along with them. But when the Republican Party did wrong, I was its outspoken critic. And there's a quote by Frederick Douglass that I live by from the political realm. It says, "I will unite with anyone to do what is right and no one to do what is wrong." So what they're looking for in the local Republican Party, and I need to make it clear, there's a difference between your elected officials in a party and people who identify as conservatives and Republicans who are not politically involved. From the individuals, the elected officials in the Republican Party of Chesapeake, they want people who would do firstly what they tell them to do. So what they mean is Don Carey was never loyal to us. Don Carey didn't do what we told him to do. Therefore, they were attacking the meaning. You can go back to that delegate race where I was attacked by the party.
Yeah.
They wanted to get rid of me simply because there was no strings in my back. So again, but I think we pray for them. We're going to run a race that shows the people of Chesapeake what a mayor looks like. I think I've showed them over my 4 years on city council what an effective and productive council member should look like. And I hope, again, by God's grace and your support and the support of the citizens of Chesapeake, November 5th, that I will be the next mayor.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. I just when I first read this, I was like, for one, I obviously being that I have friendship with you, man, and I've seen you at your best. I know for sure. I'm like, Don is definitely not all about that. Look, like how did T.O. say, "I love me some meat"? No, that ain't Don. That ain't Don. Don is for the people. Trust me, Don is definitely for the people and for the community. No, and it's interesting because I know current councilman Robert Ike. He also so there was a group of individuals that didn't receive an endorsement by the GOP recently. And Robert was one of those people. He is still running for re-election, but he realized that he's like, hey, look, the local GOP, they're not who they say they are. Where he's running as an independent, he's come out publicly to endorse you actually as mayor too. With a lot of people, especially modern conservatives, and just really, I mean, conservatives in general that are leaving the Republican Party. This is just not even on a local state level, but even on a federal level. A lot of people are leaving the Republican Party. Now there have been some as well leaving the Democratic Party. You know, a small group of individuals. I know a mayor out in Dallas, Texas. He switched his party. He was a Democrat previously and switches to a Republican. But there's quite a large number of people leaving the GOP. Would you say, as far as what you have been mentioning early throughout this conversation, is maybe probably similar reasons of why people are saying, okay, look, we're starting to see what this party really starting to be? And has it always been like that in a sense?
I think particularly, I can't speak for what's going on in Texas or with other individuals on the state of federal, but what I can tell you is there's always been fluid movement amongst parties, particularly within the city of Chesapeake. So former Commissioner of the Revenue, Mr. Ray Connor, he started off as a Democrat and then he moved to the Republican Party. We also have a former council member and current delegate, Cliff Hayes, who started off as a Republican and then went to the Democratic Party. Me making this decision is not something that happens in a vacuum. It is actually more fluid than you would think. And for several reasons, I think certain individuals say, hey, here are my core beliefs. At one point in time, either the Republican Party or the Democratic Party aligned with those, but as time moved along, it began to fluctuate, and they feel as if I can no longer align within this party. But then there is some who look behind the veil and see, oh my God, the public rhetoric of the party versus what is actually going on doesn't align with what I think a party should stand for, and they leave for that reason. So there could be myriad reasons. I know Councilman Robert Ike, even though he wasn't endorsed by the Republican Party, would still consider himself, a member of the GOP. Again, I don't have that historic relationship or institutional background with the Republican Party. Me coming into this, I'm still trying to find my bearings. Okay, well, where can I exist and still be Don Carey? Where can I fight for the things that matter to me throughout my city and for my citizens in Chesapeake? And I tried it with the Republican Party. God bless them. It didn't work. So now I'm going to try it within the Democratic Party, and hopefully it does work. So I see it very similar to when I was in the NFL, when I played for one team and the direction that team wanted to go in, the things they wanted to accomplish, their goals didn't align so much with what I was wanting to do. Then you move to another team. I think this blind loyalty that people tend to give to a political party is not helpful. There needs to be individuals that are willing to hold parties accountable when they act in ways that are contrary to what citizens believe. And when they do act in ways that are contrary to what citizens believe, be willing to either leave or be willing to call those people out.
Absolutely. So I don't know if anybody's ever come across by asking you this, but being that what you just said, explain why not consider just say running as an independent. Now I know there's obviously a system as far as ballot access to get your name on a certain ballot, but have you ever thought of saying, okay, look, I'm gonna move third party again on a local level, and even outside of Virginia and outside of Hampton Roads, a lot of people are just really kind of they're tired of the two-party system. So have you ever said, okay, look, let me kind of align myself in the middle as well? Has there ever been a thought for you?
So it definitely has, and honestly, I don't know if my career will kind of settle up on as being independent. I don't plan on leaving the Democratic Party as of now. But the way our politics in America is set up, it is set up to be either in the Democratic Party or in the Republican Party.
Gotcha.
As best you can. I don't think anyone who is. Can you hear my son crying?
It's good. It's all good. It's not a lot.
Right. Well, so
He's just saying, what's up? What's going on? What's good with you?
He actually fell.
Oh,
all right. So what? I'll just start it over. You can edit as you want. So yeah, I did give it some thought. But I think the way that our system is set up, governmental system, is set up to either be in the Democratic or the Republican Party. There are some special cases where individuals can run and win as independent. But for me, I think it's better to to try both. I want
Mhm.
to try my hand and see, okay, could I exist within the Republican Party? Can I exist within the Democratic Party? And if I cannot exist within these two spheres, but then I'll try the truly independent party, see if that works. But as of now, there are things about the Republican Party that I loved.
Mhm.
There are things about the Democratic Party that I loved, and I'm going to try my hand the Democratic way now.
Man, last thing before we finish this conversation, man. For the Democratic voters out there that are still hesitant on really say believing that okay, he's a he's the Democratic nominee. Do I really want to still give him my vote? Because he's again is he's very new. I think you've been a how long have you been a Democrat so far? Okay, I mean
Yeah. About 5 minutes, right?
but it's been a short period. So for those for those that are really gonna what's the term, they're gonna really put you up to speed and against the wall as far as like, okay, look, our core values for the Democratic Party are this and this. um how, because again, hey, you've had been a part of a party before before switching to the Democratic Party. How do you earn the Democratic voters trust? Because a lot, I mean, you're gonna have your critics, and you still do have those critics that are saying, okay, look, maybe he is a political opportunist, or maybe he, even though he's running as this, he's still a Republican in my eyes. Like, I'm not gonna like, how do you know let them know? How do you approach them with that?
Sure. No, several things. Firstly, I would hope that citizens can look at the body of work that I've given over the past 4 years and judge me off of that, not based on a political group that I was in. So to my Democratic minded individuals, I would remind them that when it was time to replace that council member seat, and the Republican Party wanted to push a young lady who had no experience whatsoever, that I led the charge to get Council Member Dwight Parker put within that seat, who
Mm,
was a Democrat.
Democrat. Mhm.
And I did so because Council Member Dwight Parker had the experience that we need. He was the next highest vote getter. He was well respected by individuals on both sides of the aisle. He was the right man for the job. I didn't care about party. I
Mhm.
wanted the right man for the job. When former Judge Odes retired, and there was a move to have her name placed on the domestic court building, but Republicans said no, we don't want her because she's a Democrat. We're going to put forth another individual, Judge Grissom. Well, I again led the charge to refuse that name of Judge Grissom going, and not because I thought Judge Grissom was a wonderful man, but
Mhm.
at the same token, we should be able to give flowers to individuals for their service to the city, and it should not be based on being a Democrat or Republican. So not only did we stop that injustice from happening against Judge Odes, but I led the charge to change the whole entire courtyard
Mhm.
names to Judge Odes. When citizens were hungry within the city of Chesapeake due to no fault of their own, I am the one who led the charge to take bonus money that came down from the state to feed thousands and thousands of citizens at a rate that had never happened before in the city of Chesapeake. So I don't know if me standing on the principles that I stand on would technically be considered Democratic, principles and
Mhm.
policies. But what I do know, that I'm going to continue to fight for the people. I'm going to continue to put forth righteous ordinances and laws. I'm going to continue to make sure I'm doing what is right,
Mhm.
instead of doing what certain individuals want me to do. And I'll let the citizens decide this November if my resume on council aligns with their values. I think it does. But again, it's going to be up to them to decide that November 5th.
Wow, man. Look, you got me all fired up, man, for you. And again, ladies and gents, this is a gentleman who has already received an endorsement from the Virginia Speaker of the House, Don Scott, who is by far one of the most. I mean, look, you've seen them all, across your television station, making history. But who spoke nothing but highly about you. You received the endorsement by the Chesapeake Democratic Committee, which I know they interrogated you. I know they did. I already know.
Yeah.
I know they did. So again, man, I truly appreciate you taking the time out your busy schedule here to have this conversation on the Arrington Gavin podcast. How are ways and people can stay in touch, especially for locals here in the Chesapeake area, and for people, hey, for if you're not even from the area and just really are passionate about what this man is speaking on and want to support, how can people do so, Don, or at least keep in touch with you?
Yeah, so I want to hear from everyone. When we're done here, I'm going to put my coat on and go hit more door knocking. I was door knocking yesterday and the day before that, and we'll be doing that, pretty much until the election. So please, citizens can send me an email at info@votedoncarey.com. They definitely can send me messages on Facebook. They definitely can go to our website, votedoncarey.com. That'll be up and running here shortly. Okay. Again, I'm not doing this for myself. I don't need power, or honestly, running for mayor is wonderful. Serving the city is wonderful, but I came from a life where I had 70,000 people screaming my name every single Sunday. I'm not doing this for a power play. I'm doing this because I truly feel that we have an exceptional city who deserves exceptional leadership, and by God's grace, I'm going to give it to them.
That's what I'm talking about, man. 70,000. Look, if I had 7 people calling I'll be like, yo, I done made it, Mom. I don't know. Man, Don, again, I truly appreciate you, brother. Best of luck to you. Like I said, you got to support over here on this end. I know you're gonna do great things in this area. And again, I hope people realize they didn't just see Don Carey, the city officials. They saw Don Carey, the person, and saw your true heart, your true values of what you're going for, and what you are fighting for the city of Chesapeake. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for you. And again, I want to keep in touch with you. I want to have you back on. This time as it will be a different title in front of your name, but I ain't going, hey, I like to speak stuff out into existence. I like to speak stuff out into existence. Okay. But again, Don, thank you so much, boss man. Look, don't go anywhere. I want to chop it up with you just for a few seconds. So just stand by. But again, ladies and gents, Mr. Don Carey, current councilman for the city of Chesapeake, and is running for mayor, to be the next mayor of the city of Chesapeake. So we wish him nothing but the best. Thank you so much. Awesome. Look, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed that great conversation with Councilman Don Carey. Man, what an awesome dude. What a class act. And wish him nothing but luck on this on this race, because as you know, when it comes to the party system, for an individual to come out publicly switching a party and give his reasons why, that takes a lot. That really does takes a lot, because Don is a young individual who, like he said, he was on the trajectory of being U.S. Senator. Okay, do you hear me? U.S. Senator. And that man said, no, I'm not going to wait to get to U.S. Senator, then change. No, I'm going to do it now as I continue to progress and grow as far as a person who wants to help serve the community. Because we see it a lot, y'all. We see it a lot on a higher level of people that will get to that position and then, would switch. So it's just, I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed it. And I hope you continue to read up on your local officials and just get, just have the knowledge, whether if you're in the Hampton Roads area, whether you're in Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, Portsmouth, Newport News, Norfolk, Hampton, look, wherever you are at, or even outside, because I know we have some listeners and viewers that are based out of state, even out of the country. And I truly appreciate you all for continuing your support of the Arrington Gavin podcast. You can see it scrolling at the bottom. New episodes drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time via podcast. So iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, Odyssey, wherever you listen to your podcast, you can tune into the show. New episodes will drop at 10 a.m. Now, if you prefer to watch the video version of this program, you can do so on those exact same days. New video episodes will drop at 5 p.m. On our YouTube channel, R Smooth Club Media, on Rumble at the Arrington Gavin podcast, on X, formerly known as Twitter. And what am I missing? Oh, and on Facebook at our Smooth Club podcast. So until next time, my friends, y'all be easy, stay blessed. I will see you all on Wednesday. Hey, I'm out.